All right, hey guys, Jason here. We're up here. We're at Franklin Chevy here in Statesboro, Georgia, my local dealership here, and great place. We're on a used car lot. We're going to talk today about how to get the best out of your used car, out of your trade-in. How do you get the most for your trade-in vehicle? Because we know that when you bring a trade to a vehicle purchase, that trade is baggage. Okay, that baggage can be used against you, and that baggage can weigh you down. You might work the best deal you think you can with a dealer, but if they know you got a trade-in, if you knock another $3,000 off on your deal, you get all excited, then they knock another they knock $3,000 more off your trade-in. They play these games all the time. And if you're gonna trade in something like this, look at this gorgeous Rubicon right here. Rubicon turned into a mall crawler and done well, and what a pretty, love the color. But if you're gonna be buying a new car and you're going to trade in your old one, how do you not get taken advantage of? Well, it's pretty basic, pretty simple. We got some simple philosophy. Sorry, I was checking the camera. What you want to do is first is you have to educate yourself. You have to know what is going on with your trade and what you're going to do with it. So how do you do that? Today, it's easier than it's ever been before. It used to be, God, it was so exhausting. Used to be where you would have to take your car and you would have to drive it to every dealership you wanted to, and then you'd wait for an hour while they evaluate it and they go over it, and then they bring you in and then they pull you in and they want to find out if you're trying to buy a new vehicle or what you're doing, and all this kind of crap just to get the number that they're going to give you for trade-in. Those days are gone. That's over. We don't do that anymore, and if you do, stop it right now. There's way better ways. So we got some nice ones. 4Runner right here too. Some great vehicles on this lot. So what do you do now? So before you go buy your vehicle and you're going to talk to that dealer about a trade-in, first thing you're going to do is find out what your trade is worth. You can use things like Black Book and things like that if you want to. I find the best way to find real world stuff is basically to use Carvana, to use any of those online buyer services, Edmunds, use any of them that are out there, but get them, and then they're going to send basically, like Carvana is going to give you an instant number. You put in your license plate number and answer some questions about the vehicle. 3 minutes later, they give you a price on what they're going to sell it to you for. They tell you if you're going to trade it in, then they would have gave you another couple grand more. That's the way it works, but it's good information and it's a pretty good number. Other thing you can do too is, like I said, reach out to like Edmunds or any of these online car services. Kelley Blue Book has them, all of them do now, and then you're gonna do the same thing. License plate information, specs and details on there, upload some pictures, and then they're gonna submit it to dealerships all around you, and then these dealerships are gonna call you. They're gonna say, hey, we're here. Are you looking to trade it or are you looking to sell it? I would just say I'm looking to sell it. And in that way, they're going to give you legit numbers and find out what you're at and stuff like that too, or tell them you might trade it if the deal is right, but it's secondary, okay? The key thing you want to remember to tell these people is that you want to tell them that you are not sure if you are going to trade it in. You will if the deal is right. Do not let them think that you have to trade it because you can't afford to have both vehicles, because then they got you bent over a barrel. There's nothing worse than being bent over a barrel. So you want to make sure that you do not give in to them and tell them, yes, I have to trade this in. I'm going to trade it in. No, you tell them, say, I want to know what it's worth so that I know whether I want to trade it in or I want to sell it myself, or if I just want to keep it. I am in the market for a new truck. I'm looking at one of these, but I'm a smart shopper and I'm willing to travel for it. So I'm going to be buying from whoever gives me the best deal on that. So the trade is separate. Okay. My vehicle is separate, but I want to know what it's worth and I want to know what, so I'm getting quotes from a bunch of dealers to see where I stand at. Let them know that you're educated and that you're playing this the right way, and then they're going to treat you the right way. Okay, if you just come in and you start acting like, well, just tell me what it's worth because I'm thinking about trading it in, I want to buy a new car, they have you bent over a barrel. But if you tell them that you're, like I said, you're educated and you're doing this the right way, and you're going to get a bunch of quotes from a bunch of different dealers, and whoever comes up with the best number is either going to get it, and if nobody comes up with the number you're looking for, then you'll sell it outright yourself. And they hate when you say this. Okay, they hate it, but it works fantastic, okay, is to tell them, say, well, I don't need to trade it in because I have the money in the bank. I don't owe that much on it. I can pay it off, and then I can sell it outright myself too, and then I'll make more money on it. Okay, when you tell them that, they understand that you're serious and that each $1,000 matter. Okay, that you're not playing games and you're not going to go with the lowest one, and this guy's number, if they don't come in high on that trade value, then they're not going to get it. So it's important that you set those boundaries in a nice way and let them know where you stand, and let them know that you're smart and that you're not playing games and that this is not your first rodeo. That's how you do it. And by keeping the trade deal separate from your new purchase and letting them know that you don't care, your trade-in is irrelevant to this deal while you're negotiating that deal, then it takes that power away from them of using your trade against you. Okay, because you can always say, well, no, we'll deal with the trade-in later. Okay, because the trade-in, I could trade it or not trade it, or I could sell it out myself. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. But to me personally, my trade is not relevant to this deal. This deal is we work this deal first. Then when we have that deal worked, if I like the deal, I buy the truck. And at the time, if you then want to offer me something for my trade and it's a good enough offer, I will let that go. If not, I will sell it to other people or I will sell it outright. I will do what I want to with it. I have zero fears. And you can also tell them, I've already checked with Edmunds and I've already checked with Carvana and I've already checked with all my local dealerships, and I know what numbers I can get on trade. So you'd have to come in higher than that, or I just drive it right to them and sell it. See what I mean? You take control of the situation. You dominate the situation. You control it. Now, if you are down here in the south, we are in Georgia. Notice how beautiful the weather is out here. Okay, it's 74 degrees and it's 9 o'clock at night. Down here, in a lot of places in the south, they will let you, there's a tax deference in here that happens. So let's say that this was your vehicle you were going to put in on trade and it was worth $30,000 and you were going to buy a $50,000 one. You only pay the tax on a $20,000 difference. You don't pay the tax because you already paid tax on this once already. They do not charge you a second tax, or they remove that amount of tax from your new vehicle. It's a beautiful thing. However, dealerships down here know how that game works. So they're going to tell you, well, we're only going to give you $28,000 for this. And you're going to be like, you're joking. And they're going to be like, but no, listen, but it's $28,000, but you're saving $2,400 more because you're trading it in. So you get that tax benefit. So really it's like us giving you $30,500. Okay. They play that game all the time. Know your numbers. That way they cannot play the game against you, or when they do and they come back with that piece of paper that says trade in, we give you trade in value after taxes, and they show you that number on there and they're going to point this out and try and act like they're doing you a big favor and all this kind of stuff. Now the government is going to take it from here and you're going to be perfect and it's the best way to do it. You know, you can say, okay, so all in all, you're giving me 28. Forget or with the taxes, even a tax difference, you're making it 30,500. But these guys, Carvana is going to give me 32,000 for it. Why would I give it to you? Why wouldn't I just do it that way and then just pay the difference and still make $2,000 extra in my pocket? Education wins. So with your trade-in, know what you want to do before you go there. Now, I'll bet half of the people are already no longer watching this video. It's the way YouTube works. People time out early. Those guys are sorry because they're missing this. I'm never going to give you the most important info in the beginning of my video. Okay, that doesn't work, because then anybody that just wants to chime in for a minute or 30 seconds, they're not getting that. They're not worth it to me. No offense, but I'm making a video, I want you to watch it. So the best tip I'm giving you now is right here at the end. And those of you still watching it, you get the benefit of it. Those that didn't, sorry for them. Here's the reality. Remember how I told you had to go to dealer to dealer to dealer to go ahead and go get your numbers and all that kind of stuff and have it evaluated? So we talked about Edmund is going to have dealers calling you and doing stuff. This is how easy it is to have a trade evaluated in 2024, 2025. This is how easy this is. What's going to happen? Very simple. You are going to call a dealership up and say, hey, I have this vehicle. We'll go back to this Tacoma right here. I have a 2023 Tacoma with whatever it's at, 15,000 miles on it, TRD off-road, and I'm looking to either sell it or trade it. Can I send you over the info and get the evaluation? Yes, you can. Now, if you're buying a vehicle out of state and you're thinking about doing the trade and you're like, well, what if I get there and they're going to screw me on my trade? No, because you can have it evaluated without even bringing it there. How does that work? What they need is they need the VIN number, they need the mileage, and they need 10 pictures. You give them 10 pictures of everything on this truck, out every side, all the way around, inside, passenger, back seat, everything. You show them pictures. You text them the pictures, the VIN number, and the info, and then you can text that to any dealer you want to, and within a half hour, they're going to evaluate it and come right back to you. Okay, especially if you are on a vehicle that is still within warranty or still within reason. If you're trying to do it with a 200,000 mile vehicle, you know, they're probably not going to nickel and dime you over $500 difference, but point being is on one of these, something like this, they will evaluate that trade through text messages. Any dealer will. If the dealer will not, red flag, move on, go right to a different dealership. If they will not evaluate your trade and be very close to it, very real, by doing it by text messages, move on. Don't even bother. It's a waste of time, and they're just going to play games with you, and you don't want those kind of games. If you're buying out of state and you're going to trade it in out of there, then you want it evaluated, you want the documentation there, and you want it there. And in that way, if they come back and try to be $5,000 cheaper, and they give you some stupid excuse, not only can you walk away, but there might even be some legal repercussions to that too. You sent them the images, you sent them all of this stuff, you gave them the details, you know what fair market value is, you know what other people are charging, and then you can say that they offered you this. How could it, that now they're telling me it's a $5,000 less difference because of whatever, and you can legally say that's a lie because there's no whatever. So it makes it easier for you to be able to do. So you can evaluate your trade right there. Go walk around your car, take some pictures. Doesn't have to be clean or nothing. Cleaner is better, but take pictures of everything, send it over to the guy, VIN number, mileage, done, and next thing you know, you're good. Now, what if they ask you how much you pay or you still owe on it? Everyone will. Well, how much do you owe on your trade? That question is irrelevant. And they want to know because if you owe, for example, on that Tacoma, let's say you owe $35,000 on it, and they're only thinking their trade is going to be $30,000, then they know that you're probably not going to do it. And if they want that third gen Tacoma like everybody does, they're going to have to fight harder to get it. Okay, because they're going to be like, he owes $35,000 on it. And what do you mean you're coming in? The finance manager, the evaluator is going to be like, we'll give him $30,100. He's like, he owes $35,000 on it. All right, let's make it $31,500. We'll give him a little bit more, so hopefully he'll buy from us for the car deal. See how that works? Now, if you come back and you say, I own it outright, or I only owe $10,000 on it, they're going to be like, he only owes $10,000 on this. And all right, so you evaluated $30,000. Let's just give him the $30,000 for it. They want to know what you owe, because then they know if they can lowball you or not. Okay, now it's not everyone, but there is a flexibility to that. And again, if they want your truck and you say that you owe more than what the value is, they're usually going to try a little harder to bump that number up to try and make the deal happen. If you owe way less, or you tell them you do, then you're in trouble. They're just going to give you fair market value or try and lowball it any way they can, because they know that you don't have that, you're not vested in it. You have equity in it already that you have to work with. So something to consider there in a reality. So me personally, when they ask me, well, how much do you owe on it? I always say, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to look on there, but it's, and if I know the value, like you said, if we know that they're going to probably come in at 30 grand, he says, how much do you owe on it? I don't know. It might even be, I have to talk to my wife. She handles all that stuff. I'm guessing we probably owe 33, 34, 35,000 on it. Oh, that much, huh? Yeah, I'm guessing. But again, my wife handles all that stuff. I don't mess with that. She's the one that deals with all that kind of stuff. She just gives me an allowance. They laugh, ha, ha, ha. They think I owe $35,000 on it, and then when the deal is all done, and I've got my trade in, and I've got my paperwork, and I've got all this buyer's agreements in front of me, and everything like that, and then they call to get a payoff to Toyota, and they call up Toyota and say, hey, we got this truck right here, and we want to get a payoff for it, and they're like, wait, what? He only owes $6,000 on it? They're like, you only owe $6,000 on it. Huh, how about that? My wife must have made extra payments on it. I didn't even know. Bonus. They're like, we gave him 32 because we thought he wouldn't have been able to make the deal. We gave him an extra $2,000. See my point? So this is the way this stuff works. So getting the most value for your trade-in, hopefully these tips help you out. Any questions you got, put them down below. Thanks for watching.